It is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. I am 27 years old and some change. And I'm thinking, I'm always thinking. I'm thinking I want to do things. I always want to do things. I always have an idea for something to do. And a new idea I have is maybe doing more of these video diaries for myself for documentation. I'd be curious to see if I had done this consistently from when I was like a teenager until now, how interesting that would be to see myself and hear myself talk in different seasons of my life, when I was at different ages, different stages, when I had some different beliefs. I've always had a lot of the same core beliefs, but you shift and change and evolve throughout life, and I would be curious to see that progression. So why not start now when I'm 27? When I have so much life ahead of me. Which is funny to say because I think everyone kind of goes through a little bit of this where when you're younger, like teenager into your early 20s, you think that once you get to your 30s and 40s, you're going to be so old, but like you're still young, but like you're so much older. And that is true to some extent. Like 38 is different from 18. Very different. But you're still so young and vibrant, you know? And that's something that I have kind of been discovering. I'm still so young. I'm only 27. It's funny because most people in my life, a lot of people in my life are older than me. I do have some people around my age, but most people are at least a few years older than me, if not like 5 to like 8 or more years older than me. And everyone, when they learn my age, if they don't already know it, they're like, "Oh, you're such a baby." I'm 27, by the way. And they're like, "Oh, you're such a baby." Like I just met my boyfriend's sister in person for the first time because she lives elsewhere and she came here to visit, and she's a little bit older than me, and she thought that I was in my 30s. She was like, "You're like 30 something." And I was like, "I'm 27." And she was like, "You're a child." Not you're a child, but like you're so young still. And it's just weird because I do still feel young actually, but I can tell that I'm different than I was when I was 23 or when I was 17. I mean, 17 was 10 years ago. I've heard people say that no matter their age, as they keep aging, they still feel really young at heart. I could have swore I saw a video somewhere online, probably like an Instagram reel of this elderly lady who said that she still kind of feels like she's 17 in her mind. Like, she's like, "How am I 80 something years old?" It's weird. And I think everyone kind of experiences that to some extent. And it's interesting. I would have been interested to see to have documentation of myself like 10 years ago versus now. I do have some documentation in some regard. Like I have pictures, but I would have loved to have seen the difference in how I spoke and how I thought and how I saw the world. I feel like it's so vastly different. But I think everyone kind of goes through some of that. I mean, I was talking to my mom recently and she was like, "How am I about to be like 65? Like that doesn't feel real." And I told her this coming year is going to be like 10 years since I graduated high school. Yeah. It'll be like 10 years. And she was like reflecting on how long ago it had been for her when she was in high school. And she's like, "That's so weird." Like in some ways, it still feels like yesterday that these things happened. Like It's so weird. I was thinking about that not that long ago, how my childhood feels like a different lifetime, but it feels like yesterday at the same time. I think because I have those memories in my mind, and the memories are so close to me, I can access them at any time. You want me to tell you a childhood story? Like, I can go there instantly. I think that maybe is why it feels like yesterday, because some of the memories are still vivid in my mind, and I still can see the way my friends used to look when they were kids. I can still see the way I used to look when I was a kid, and that's weird. Sometimes I have moments where I look in the mirror and I'm like, I still kind of see the hint of yesteryear. I still see the hint of little me, because like that was me. I'm just older now. It's so weird. It's so weird to feel that close and that distant from a past version of yourself. It's so strange. But getting back to the present, today is July 1st. I'm trying to journal a little bit more consistently. I've been pretty good the last, like, maybe the last year. The last few years. I've always journaled. Some seasons I've journaled more than others. I've been like really I'm here. I'm going back to a memory when I was in college and I got my heart broken and I was so lost and depressed and sad and angry. I was journaling constantly. So that's what I mean when I say some seasons you're going to be journaling more than others. I was just going through it. And I was writing all the time. I think that's when I really found that writing was so important to me, because it was a way for me to process. And it was a way for me to just get the thoughts out of my head and onto paper and kind of move the thoughts and the feelings through me and somewhere else, onto something else, onto a page. So, yeah, there's so many good things that came from that heartbreak. It's funny because, like, now I'm with the person that I'm like meant to be with. I'm with the man of my dreams now. And I would have never met him had I stayed in that last relationship. I probably would have never met him. I know I never would have met him because I met him through a dating app. So if you're on a dating app, you're intentionally looking for someone. I never would have met him. I it's just like, it's funny, wow, to think about. I I knew when I was in that heartbreak that there would be life after the heartbreak. Like, there would be good things to come, but when you're in it and it's hard. And I remember turning to writing. Like, I always kept a journal throughout my life because my mom would get me little diaries when I was a little girl, and I always gravitated towards writing. But that experience solidified something for me that had never been solidified before. I realized how much I needed writing. I don't know how else I would have processed all of that stuff, because it was stuff that I didn't even want to speak to anyone else. I just needed to write it out and get it down. And I had this journal. I still have it. I don't have it in my room, but I have this journal. It was like big. It was tall and it was kind of thick. And I filled that entire journal. I mean, I had probably been writing it. I think I had been writing in it before I ever went through that heartbreak, but I filled that entire journal. Like, it was probably the biggest journal I've ever used in my life. And I finished that journal when I was like processing that heartbreak. I remember writing a lot on my computer too. Like, I was writing constantly. I was writing stuff on my computer, journaling in my notebook and on my computer, and just writing all the time. But I will say my journaling practice has changed over the years, and thank God, because I think when I was younger, I really did use journaling as a way to process my emotions, and I was going through a lot of things. You know, like when you're a teenager, you're like really going through a lot. Okay, like being a teenager is like hard work. And I was processing a lot of like heavy emotions and confronting things that I'd never confronted before, like facing depression and anxiety head on, and mainly depression. I was going through it a little bit. And my journaling experience was a lot of just like, I'm feeling like this right now. I'm feeling like this today, and this sucks. And you kind of like ranting and just getting the thoughts out, which I guess is kind of good, but I almost was like sulking in it, stewing in it, instead of kind of really trying to move through the emotions. Something that I learned from my sister, I really liked how she would always journal in a very intentional way. Even if she was going through something hard, she would write about it, and then she would always end her journaling session on a positive note, something that was more uplifting, something hopeful. And when I was younger, I was just like, that's amazing for you, but I don't do that. I'm like, I process, and I sometimes my pages and pages and pages are just like super negative and depressing, and I'm just like processing it out. Now, over the years, I kind of organically started shifting the way that I journaled, and I do tend to lean towards my sister's method for journaling now. Some things in my journal are, let me just show you my journal. I need to remember exactly where I got this. It was an Etsy store. They're still alive and active because I ordered new journals from them. I have like I have four journals in my lineup that I need to fill. So that's part of why I'm journaling so much right now, because I'm like, I need to document, I need to take notes, but I also really want to finish this so I can keep moving through all my journals because I have a lot lined up. But I got this from an Etsy store. It actually says espresso on the back. Espresso, made in Italy. I love this journal. This is why I have 1, 2, 3, including this one, 4. I have 4 journals from these people because I love the quality. I love that it comes with a little tassel thing in here. And the sides have print on them. So like this theme for this one is lilac. And you got lilac on the side. Look how pretty. And then I have another one that's like ivy, and it's got ivy on the sides. Like they all have like prints on the sides, which I love. It's so cool. So I got this journal and another one a few years ago. I'm finally getting to this one. Like this is how I operate. I get journals and I just kind of like, I'm waiting to fill them. I don't get journals when I need them. I get them ahead of time. And then I have something to look forward to. It's kind of fun. And then when I went to TJ Maxx the other day, I found another journal that I really liked. So now I have 4 in my lineup after this one. But that's part of my motivation to keep writing consistently, is because I have so many notebooks that I need to fill now. And also journaling is so good for me because it's, listen, my approach to journaling now is not the same that it used to be. I used to just journal out my thoughts and my feelings and emotions, but now I still do some of that if I feel so compelled. But my journaling experience is so different now. I feel like I'm documenting more. Like if I have thoughts and ideas and revelations and things that I'm kind of sitting with and processing, not emotions, but like thoughts and ideas, I write a lot of that stuff down. So my journaling feels a little bit more productive now than it used to, because I feel like I'm actually working through ideas and trying to make sense of them, you know? Because sometimes this is how ideas come to me, or like revelations. I'll kind of receive this a small little seed of a revelation. I'm like, it's like a little breadcrumb. One thing that kind of sparks this journey, and now I want to go down this road. So I see a breadcrumb, I pick it up, I'm like, yum. And then I'm like, okay, where's the next breadcrumb? This is how revelations come to me. It's kind of like a little seed is planted within, but then I have to participate in trying to fully, I'm like fully engaging with this seed. I'm trying to get it to grow in whatever way I can. I'm watering it. I'm thinking about it and pondering, but I also think there's this beautiful aspect of the revelation unraveling within you, and there's nothing that you can really do to force it. It's like a flower growing and budding. It's like the seed is planted, and then yes, you water it and you take care of it and you do what you can, but it takes time. It just takes time for it to fully reveal itself, for it to grow and bloom. That's the same kind of thing with these revelations. I get a little seed planted and I'll start writing about it because I'm like, what is this? And I ask questions. Sometimes I literally will just write in my journal, like, I don't understand what this means yet. Or I'll write down questions that I have. And as the revelation or the idea is unraveling within me, I continue to document it, write about it, and ask questions. And sometimes I think in the writing it down, it helps illuminate more things to me. But a lot of this process just takes time and patience. So I think journaling helps though, because I may not even be really figuring it out. I'm just documenting it. I'm just documenting the initial idea or thought or belief or whatever. And then I'm exploring it and I'm writing about it. That's kind of a fun way to journal for me. And then sometimes I write about experiences that I've had. I write down my thoughts around an experience of like why I think this was so profound or why I thought this was so important or not important at all or what have you. I write down questions that I have if I'm like, I have a random one from May of this year. What constitutes a good day? And then I'm just exploring what I think about that. I also take notes on things if I'm watching any sort of like trainings or videos or anything I can take notes on. I document it in my notebook, in my journal. I write down random ideas that I have for like poems or other things that I might want to write. I just have found this year in particular that my journaling practice has been really helpful for me. Man, I really want to have some espresso. I need to take a pause for a second. I need some espresso. This is something that I've been having a lot of lately. My little espresso. I love this espresso cup. There's a set that my mom has. This is the only one that looks like this. It's bluish, purpley color on the outside, and then this like turquoise blue on the inside. And then she has two other ones. They're part of one set, but they just look different. And then the two other ones are pink on the outside with the same turquoise color on the inside. I think those espresso cups were gifted to her by a family friend, and we've had them forever, for as long as I can remember, and I love them. This one's my favorite though. I love this color, and I love the color combination. But I have really been getting into espresso, like on the regular. I've been into espresso and coffee for years now, but I've been more regularly consuming espresso recently, and it's been so nice. I love having it in the morning, while I'm kind of getting settled into the day. Um, Man, what was I talking about before? I was talking about journaling. Oh man, what was I talking about? I have been writing more consistently in my journal this year, and I feel like it's been helpful for me to sort through ideas and uncover revelations and just document it all. Um, in prior years, in years past, I've had this desire to share and post things on the internet. Excuse me. Sorry, had to collect myself. I've had a desire to participate on the internet, and I think some of that's okay, but I definitely have gotten to points where I'm consuming too much on the internet. I'm scrolling too much, and that's really informing my thoughts and beliefs and ideas. Um, and I also would sometimes, instead of journaling about something and writing it down, I would go straight to the internet to write about it and post about it in real time. Again, I'm like, there's a balance to all of this. So some of that might be okay, but I have found it really important for me this year in particular to write down my thoughts and ideas on paper. I don't know what it is. There might be science behind this. There might be psychological reasons for this. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it, but writing my thoughts and ideas on paper has been so helpful for me. I don't even know how to describe it because helpful doesn't even feel like the right word. It's like, what is the right word? I just think it's been really good for me because when you write with a pen and paper, you can only write so fast. And if I write too fast, it starts to look like chicken scratch and it looks insane and it's barely legible. So I have to write at a certain pace to make it legible, to make it look, you know, easy to read. And I can only write but so fast. Typing, on the other hand, on a computer, I can type pretty fast. So when I am when I'm typing, the ideas are just like come in and I'm just typing whatever. And there's something different that happens when you're writing in a journal. It's just slower paced. And I feel like I have room for an idea to kind of form better, healthier, stronger than if I was typing it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it feels. Like I used to journal a lot on my computer. Like I said, when I was in college, I used to type a lot and I would write in my journal, in my physical journal, but I used to journal a lot more on my computer and like Google Docs. And I think I liked that I could move quickly because sometimes it did feel like my thoughts were coming so fast that typing it was easier to get all the thoughts down. But do we really need to get every single thought down? I don't know. I have found it really enjoyable to write my ideas down on paper. I don't even know how to explain it. I haven't really given much thought to this of why journaling feels so good and what it does for the formation of my thoughts and my ideas. Like recently I read Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, and I think it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. The writing is so incredible. I was captivated from the first page, and the way that he explains certain things is just like, it's like I'm mind blown, but at the same time, it just like makes so much sense. He is such an incredible writer, and I want to write like that. Like it's insane. When I was reading that book though, I was like underlining things and thinking through everything that he was saying, every case that he made, every point that he made. And I found myself really wanting to write in my journal some of the thoughts that I was having around this book and certain sections that were standing out to me because I felt like they were important for me. They were being highlighted to me for a reason. So I'm like, I feel like I need to write that down. And I wrote down some quotes directly from the book, and I wrote down paraphrasing, a summary, and trying to make sense of some of the ideas that he shared in that book. And I felt like it lodged the thoughts and ideas deeper in my brain than it would have if I had just read the book and underlined some things as I was reading. Journaling and writing about it really like let the material sink into my brain. And I don't know that that would have been the case had I typed out all my notes around that book. I don't know, maybe, but I think typing out notes is a different experience from writing with pen and paper. It gets thoughts in your brain better. I don't know. I don't know why journaling with pen and paper is so important to me, but it has been so helpful for me this year. In processing thoughts and ideas that I've had. I also really love having a physical journal. I love some of what I've written in here, notes that I've written. It's so fun to like reflect on some of this stuff, to look back and be like, oh wow, like that's the fun part about reading. That's the fun part about the way that I journal now. It's so different than the way I journaled when I was a teenager. And now I actually have a fun time looking back and reflecting on what I have written down. I find some of the things very interesting. I regularly flip through my journal to see what has been going on the past few months in my mind, and what experiences have I had that have stood out to me so much so that I needed to write about them, and why, and just noticing patterns in yourself. Whereas when I used to journal, it was all so depressing. It was always so sad that I hated reflecting on my journaling experience. I hated reflecting on what I had written because it wasn't really helpful data. It was just depressing thoughts and feelings and emotions that I had to then relive and sift through all over again. But now I feel like journaling is productive for me, and reading through, sifting through it all again, I'm like, wow, I remember exactly where I was and in that moment when I wrote this, and this looks so like chicken scratch because the thought was coming to me so fast and I needed to write it down. And this page looks a little bit neater because I was taking my time with it and I was moving slow. And that's where I was at that day. That's how I was feeling that day, was just slow and methodical. And this other day looks crazy because I was writing so fast, trying to get all the thoughts down. Like, it's just an experience now, and I really enjoy it. But I have found it so, I keep coming back to the word helpful, although I just don't feel like that is the right word. But I've found it very helpful for my writing process to start in my journal and then move to the computer. I do sometimes just go straight to Twitter and like post things in the moment because sometimes I have a thought and I'm just like, I'll just post that there. But when it comes to like longer ideas that I want to really sit with and think through, starting in my journal has been very helpful I start there. I write about whatever it is, whatever topic I may be thinking about. Or 9 times out of 10, I've already been writing about a certain topic for a while, like here and there. That's the thing about journaling consistently. You get to notice patterns of what you've been thinking about, what you've been ruminating on. And yeah, some ideas will just kind of like rise to the surface as you reflect on what you've been journaling about, what you've been thinking about. Some ideas just kind of like appear to you and you didn't even know it at the time. But I'll have certain ideas and I'll just sit with that and I'll write about it and what am I really thinking about it? And it helps me to start on the paper with pen and paper because I feel like the idea is stronger that way. I don't even know how to describe it. I think it's just because when you journal, you have to move at a slower pace. And so the thoughts and ideas you have are not sporadic and fast and like, oh, you just had this random idea and you're just going to write about it real quick on your computer and type it out really quickly. It's like, no, it's the opposite. Like I've had this idea, I've had this thought for a while now, or maybe I've had this revelation that has unraveled slowly over time, and now I feel like I can write about it in a different way because I've had these experiences, and I can write about it because I've been writing about it in my journal slowly and methodically over time. And I don't know, I think that writing on pen and paper gets your thoughts and ideas in you better than anything else, better than typing it out, because typing is just a different experience. You're moving so much faster and it's a screen. I love a screen. I love a good screen. I love technology, but there's something different about like your handwriting. Your handwriting filling up all the pages. There's something that flows through you in a different way when you are going from mind to pen to paper. It's like a whole experience. And I just think that typing takes something out of that experience. It removes some of the human magic from, like, when I type, I'm still typing from my mind, but it's just a different experience. Maybe it's the fact that I have to move slower when I journal. Maybe it's all about pace. Maybe if I typed slower, it would still come out better or good, but I type fast. I don't know. I just move fast when I'm on my computer. It's just a whole different experience. I'm like trying to make sense of this in real time and I don't feel like it's making sense. It's not even making sense to me. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of like why journaling, writing on pen and paper, why that's so important. Maybe I should look it up. Let's see. I want to see if there's science behind this. This is taking so long to open. Okay. Let's see. Can I just for right now. I don't know. Just for the time being. Like, give it to me. Give me all the information. I do love to do this. I love living in the age of the internet because if I have a question, I can look it up and then I can get a pretty good answer really fast. Okay, let's see. This says pen and paper is not universally better than typing, but it does something typing doesn't, especially for certain kinds of thinking. Okay. Okay. This is kind of what I was thinking. It has to do with pace. Okay. The main finding is that handwriting forces slower, more selective processing. The classic study, Mueller and Oppenheimer 2014, found that students who took notes by hand remembered material better and understood it more deeply than those who typed, even though the typist took more notes. Period. That's what I'm saying. Like, it gets the material in you so much better than typing. The theory is that because you can't write as fast as you can type, you're forced to summarize and reframe ideas in your own words rather than transcribing verbatim. That extra cognitive processing, deciding what matters and how to phrase it, is what helps with retention and comprehension. That's so interesting. That makes sense. That makes total sense to me. I'm still kind of reading through some of this. Um, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the slowness of it. This says slower pace. Uh, because handwriting is slower, people tend to write less, but more deliberately. For journaling specifically, where the point is often processing emotions or reflecting rather than capturing information, that slower, more associative pace can lead to different and sometimes richer insights than fast typing does. That's so good. I love how I was spending so much time trying to figure this out and I could have just looked it up, but that's the beauty of me, but also other humans. Like, when we're trying to process something, we're sorting through it in our own way and in our own mind. So I was spending a lot of time trying to figure out, why is journaling so good, or why is it so good to write with pen and paper? I could have just looked it up, and eventually I did, because girl, that was a lot of me trying to figure it out. I still got to the same conclusion though, but this just kind of confirms what I was already thinking and helps me make sense of it. Yeah, so this says the research is strongest on note taking for learning, not journaling specifically. So, yeah, the underlying mechanism that slower, less mechanical writing produces more reflective processing, plausibly carries over to journaling, and it matches what a lot of people report anecdotally. Journaling by hand feels more like thinking, typing feels more like reporting. Interesting. But like I was saying too, I don't even journal as much about emotional stuff, I guess. I mean, sometimes I do, but a lot of what I write in my journals nowadays feels like I'm trying to process ideas and take notes on observations that I'm having, whether physical or spiritual or mental, like observations that I'm making. I'm trying to make sense of them. And that would make sense for why I have felt like writing with my pen and paper has been so good for me in the last year or so, as I've kind of pivoted in the way that I journal. I feel like I'm taking more notes now than I am like, this thing happened and this is how I feel about it. I'm taking more notes on life. So I feel like that makes sense, because it says the research supports that with note taking, when you write by hand, it gets it in your brain faster. And that's the thing I was talking about with C.S. Lewis in that book, Mere Christianity. The reason that some of those things lodged in my brain so well was because I was paraphrasing, I was summarizing, I was taking some direct quotes and putting them in my journal just to like write them down, but I was really trying to work through like my my interpretation of what he's saying and my thoughts on what he's saying to make sense of it for myself. Like, instead of just writing in my journal, this book was so good and I loved it, it's like I'm really trying to get the thoughts and ideas from that book into my brain by taking notes on it. Maybe that's my big revelation for today and talking about all of this, is that journaling in the form of note taking is really powerful. That's been really, really powerful for me as a person, but as a writer and a creative, working through ideas on pen and paper does something different for me than typing, because I'm having to move slower. It's funny, it was years ago, I was just journaling in such an emotional processing sort of way. Oh my God. Excuse me. I was journaling so differently in such an emotional way, and now I'm journaling like over time. And it wasn't an intentional shift that I made. It was just this organic thing that happened over the last few years, that I've started journaling in a more note-taking sort of way. That's been so powerful for me in my writing process and in formulating thoughts and ideas, just in general, not even to do with writing, but just in my own mind. God only knows how many journals I'm going to have by the end of my life. Like, I already have quite a few like tucked away. And I'm just like, man, the more I keep writing and journaling, I'm just going to have so many journals. Some of my older journals are just so sad and depressing, though. I don't want anyone to read them ever. But even if they did, I was thinking about that. If later in my life or when I'm gone, if people find my journals and read through them, I would just hope that they see the journey of where I was, but where I ended up, because it was kind of dark. When I was a teenager, in my early 20s, there was some dark stuff going on. There were some dark thoughts. There were some dark feelings. There was a lot of darkness and heaviness that I don't really want people to read. But I'm like, if you do read it, read the things that come later too. Like all the good and the light and the hope and it's like a whole character arc, okay? From dark to light. You got to read the latter stuff to get to the light. You can't just stay in you can't just stay in those old journals where it was dark and depressing. All right. Ooh, I've been talking for 43 minutes. This is probably why I don't do this all the time, but maybe occasional check-ins, occasional video diaries for documentation would be nice. But maybe not like every day, because, well, maybe, I don't know. If I did it every day, I probably wouldn't talk for this long every single day. Some days might be like 2 minutes, a quick check-in. But this is a long video diary. All right, I'm going to finish my espresso and probably get to work. I got things to do. And yeah. Okay, bye.